is a good practice to save your file before you start drawing anything in that. So for this purpose, I'm going to go to save, and here I am in Drop-of-Love 2D Sketches folder. So if you are not in this, you can select the folder from here. So here I'm going to write this as clock 1 because I'm going to create sketches of clocks. So here I have saved it as clock 1. This is a good practice because suddenly if your Fusion 360 stops, there will be some version of it left with Fusion 360 Cloud. So you can recover your file. But if it is not saved, there is no way how you can get your incomplete work. So let's go to Create Sketch, and here I'm going to select a plane. On this plane, I'm going to create some sketches of clocks, like how you see in this pictures. Let's start with the line tool. Before that, let me introduce you to different options that are available. In the Create, we have tools which will help us to create sketches, that is 2D shapes. So here we have text, we can also write text, and we can also multiply what we have already created using the pattern tools. Then we have modify. Using modify sketch tools, we will be able to make some modifications to those sketches that we have created. Then we have constraints. These constraints will help us in giving a relationship of one sketch to the other, or you can say one entity to the other. So let's start by sketching the first line. In Fusion 360, you can see that along with line, you also have an arc. So I'm selecting this line tool and I've clicked on one point, and before clicking on the next point, I want to make it clear that from here, you will be able to draw an arc. For that, you have to keep this pressed after clicking, and then you can see that I will be getting an arc. So this arc, I'm going to click over here as the next point, then here, and then here. You can see while I'm drawing, I'm also getting some more constraints. Here I have got the parallel constraint, and you can see the above line and the below line, it is showing the parallel constraint, which I can accept. And then again, I can keep it pressed over there, and then again I'll be getting this. And even if you have forgotten before, after clicking, you can just keep this pressed again and you'll be getting this arc. Then I'm going to join it here. Right click and say OK to come out of the command. You can also use escape. Now we have this shape. Let's see how it is being shown here. So this is our sketch 1. We do not see a lock symbol over here. This means that this is not fully constrained. For learning sketch tools, I might not be able to constrain all the sketches just to save some time. But for this one, we are going to use constraints and dimensions to fully lock the sketch, or to make this sketch fully constrained. Now, let me start dimensioning this. It's a good practice to dimension it as soon as you start drawing your first entity. I'm just clicking cancel because I can see that it is showing in angular dimension. So for this, I have to make this vertical. So I would say that this line is vertical. And also I can say that this is vertical. But here I'm getting an error message. This is because, let me come out of this command. I'll show you that this is perpendicular to this line. And this line is in turn parallel to this line. So Because we know that these two are perpendicular, this perpendicularity has already been taken and this line becomes vertical. So it does not want to take another constraint on itself because that is already defined. Now you can see that I have got this tangency constraint as I was drawing the line and arc symbol. So I can again choose this tangency for this arc and this line. Same for this line and this arc, and this line and this arc, right? Now let us go and start dimensioning. Now when I select dimensioning, it will show me a linear dimension. It will not show me an angular one because these two lines are parallel to each other. Now I'm going to make this a round figure because dimensions are not what I'm bothered about. Now I'm going to select these two lines and make this kind of a square. Now I have forgotten to give this arc. For this, I can go to modify and I can select fillet. By selecting fillet, I can give a corner edge to both these lines. So for this, I can either select this point or I can select this line and this line. It means the same. So it is showing it me as it is 30. I'm going to make this 20. Now I can again go and dimension this one also, right? But instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that all these fillets are same as this fillet, which we have already dimensioned. For this, I will use equality constraint and I'm going to say that these two fillets and these two are equal. I don't need to give the other because it is already taken by the software. Now we do not yet get the fully constrained symbol. Otherwise, we would have completely got this as a black sketch and we also have not got this lock. So now I'm going to give the dimension from the origin. So for that, I'll select this point and this point. Now this should be half of 120. Instead of calculating, I can say it is 120 divided by 2. Similarly, here also I can give it that way or I can directly give it as 60. So now you have got this lock symbol, right? So if your sketch becomes very clumsy, what you can do is you can switch off this show constraints from the sketch palette. So the sketch palette comes in handy to see what we want to actually see in this sketch window. So we can also get more clarity by switching off the dimension so that we can actually see how this looks. Currently, I'm keeping these dimensions. Now I would like to write something. Let's say I want to write some numbers around it. So here I want to write 12. So I'll go to create and select this text tool. And here I'll create a box and inside this box I can write 12, right? So here I can change its size and also I can change it to any font that I want. I can also change its direction and its alignment with respect to this box. Then click OK. So similarly, we can get all the numbers over here. So let me go back to this tool. I will just say that this is 3, height is 8. After finishing writing 6 and 9 text, let us go to Sketch Palette and let us clear the unnecessary things. So here you can see I have got a simple clock. Let's sketch the hours hand and minutes hand. So for that, I need a construction line. So I can highlight this construction from the sketch palette. And once I highlight this, I'll select the tool. Now, when I draw this tool, it will be coming in dotted line. So I just click OK, and here I'm going to draw a line. This time I do not want this to be in construction mode, so I can just switch it off from here, and then I will join it over here. Now I'll select mirror tool. Okay, then I'll make these two lines as objects from this mirror dialog box, and for mirror line I will select this tool, then click OK. Now you can see, we can see the symbol over here which is formed. This means that these two lines are symmetric to each other. Let's create the hour hand. So for that, this time, instead of using the mirror tool, I'm going to use the symmetry constraint. I'm going to draw two lines. Then now I'm going to create a construction line. So after selecting the line tool also, when I click here in the construction and the sketch panel, I'll be able to create this construction line. So this time I'm going to select this line and say that it should be symmetric with this. So you can see how I've got this symmetry line. So this one and this one should be symmetric about this. So first select the two lines which have to be symmetric, and finally select the line about which it has to be symmetric. That is a construction line. So this way also you can create this hand. Now I can see that this is not exactly in the middle, so I can just move it and let us remove these things and see how it is going to look. Right. So we have finished drawing our first clock.